Hello, this is Brian Houle. I am a solutions consultant with Beyond 20, and today I want to talk briefly about ways to handle disabled accounts or terminated accounts in Active Directory in Cherwell Service Management. So as you know, Cherwell Service Management can integrate with Active Directory to import customer records. And generally what you would do is set this up as a scheduled item, and it would run nightly to import new users and update existing users. By default, though, one of the common filters to apply to that import is this: user accounts that are not disabled. And what that means is, if the account is disabled, we don't want to import that data. However, I've had a couple of clients who actually do want to import that data because they want to track that terminated status in Cherwell as well. So commonly what you would do then is, if you had this filter on, this user accounts that are not disabled filter on your AD import, you would either manually terminate customer accounts, or you would have some sort of second scheduled item or a business process running, or automation process that would look for a last login of 60 days, 90 days, some signal of inactivity, and then go ahead and terminate the account. However, if you have a need to have that terminated status in real time, what you can then do is not use this user accounts that are not disabled in your AD filter and look at a different AD attribute to see the status of the account. Now, if I go into my customer internal object in Cherwell Service Management, I'm in the admin tool, what you can see here is I've mapped the user account control attribute from Active Directory to a field on my customer object. And what this means is it will return codes from Active Directory that will give me an idea of whether or not this account should be inactive. And there are several codes, and I recommend you look them up. But for instance, 512 is one active code. 514 is one particular inactive code, and there's a whole bunch of active codes and inactive codes. So what you can do is build an expression here that will look at this field and then determine what you can do with it. So you can either build that into an expression, or you can build it into a search. And that's exactly what I've done here. Is I have built a search or a stored query that looks at the value of AD user account control. And these codes are ones that I know that this particular system uses. And so I'm just excluding from this search an active account. I have my default customer for email tickets that on which the customer can't be identified, so I want to exclude that one because he'll never have a value in user account control. I could always mock that up, but I find it's easier just to exclude it. And so what this search does will return a set of customer records that should be disabled. And then what I can do from here is run a very simple one-step on this group to set the status to terminated, because I know that everything that gets returned by this stored query will be with a disabled code. So I can go ahead and run that against a one-step in the schedule server. So what that allows me to do is after I've imported my nightly LDAP import and I've set my credentials for the portal, I can go through and disable accounts. And so I want to schedule it with enough time that it will, allow these other imports to finish. And all this does is it runs it on a recurring schedule, and it'll run one step to terminate based on user account control. And this is a very simple one step that sets the status equal to terminated on the record. And because I'm running this from the scheduled item server, I'm running against a specific search group, and it's that very disabled accounts user account control search group that we just looked at. And there you have it. So that is the beauty of a stored query running against a one-step, is I'm always running it against this group. And you kind of have to do that with the scheduler because there's no current record in the scheduler. So you always have to run your one steps against a specific search group. But that is basically it. So in short, instead of ignoring disabled AD accounts, I'm importing everything. However, I'm also mapping the user account control attribute to a field in Cherwell. And then after the nightly import, I'm running another scheduled item to run and terminate one step based on the value in that field. And that way you have a more real-time view of who's enabled and who's disabled. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel for more Cherwell videos. Thank you.